Hello, everybody. I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC. I am so excited about today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in with us because we're going to empower you in so many new ways and so many new levels. I'm so excited to have three amazing guests here today. One who happens to be all the way from Oak Brook, Illinois. So thank you for tuning in. If you are tuning in and watching us, please go to our WOAMTEC Facebook page. So just go to Facebook, facebook.com, type in WOAMTEC, and it'll take you to our group page. We want to hear from you. So go to that page, check in, tell us you're watching live, and ask a question or two if one comes along. But let's jump into the show. We've got so much to cover today, so much I want to share with you. We're going to talk about the conference, we're going to talk about the foundation, but let's meet our very first guest today that's going to help empower you in a whole new way. So CJ, thank you so much for being here today. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay. I'm CJ Jackson with Healing Revolutions Wellness Spa now, actually, in Altamont Springs, Florida. And we do everything spa related. However, the one catch is we do it all for healing. So a lot of times people go to a spa and they feel they're going specifically for pampering. Mm-hmm. But we really go a little step further and we start looking at actually healing, the healing process. Our therapists are very specifically hired for their intuitive ability as well as their specialties, such as cranial sacral, which you know about.
Go on.
And then reflexology, ART, which is a very specialized technique. Also, prenatal, postnatal, that kind of thing. So we kind of help people with that as well. Even through the nutrition, and we all kind of refer back and forth to each other. If one particular therapist feels that someone needs some help in another area, then they'll pass them to another therapist around. So we can really maximize that healing that particular individual needs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know I've experienced it myself. I love the massage that I get and everything else that I've ever done at your place. It's absolutely fantastic. And you're right, it's the first time that I felt that it was more healing me medically instead of just relaxing me. And right. You get relaxed too. Don't say that doesn't happen because you absolutely do. But you take it to another level. And what are you going to talk about with us today?
I'm going to talk about detoxifying the body. Our tagline is actually relax the mind, detoxify the body, and balance the soul.
Which came up with our theme for today. So thank you for that tagline.
You're welcome. Oh, that made me excited when I saw it. But specifically detoxify the body because my background is in herbal medicine and nutrition. And a lot of people, there's a lot of myth and legend around detoxifying. A lot of people say, oh, it's great, it's amazing. Some people like, oh, it doesn't work. And it really comes down to the individual. A lot of times you'll go into these programs that are designed specifically for a general audience, if you will. And there's a powder for this and this for that. And we really specialize for each individual person. And we can go as far as getting blood work if needed through some labs that we're connected with.
Okay.
But we can create a detox program that's going to help specifically you and your body type and all the good stuff therein. We don't do anything that's prepackaged and boxed. Here you go, this is the food, we don't do that. We do try to get you back in the kitchen and all eating really healthy foods the right way. But we start to customize these programs. And detoxifying the body is really important, especially this day and age with the types of foods that are out there. You've got your genetically modified foods, you've got your organic foods, which are not really necessarily always what they say they are. On top of that, you've got, the environmental toxins that are everywhere. Stress. Mm-hmm. We are probably living in the most stressed out society I have ever seen in my life, and I'm sure Rene and them are going to talk about that later too. But wow, it's amazing to see how many people come in, and a lot of people don't think, but a lot of thyroid issues come from not necessarily as much poor diet as much as it's stress and environmental toxins.
So let's talk about define for somebody that's watching that may not live in this world or understand some of the things that you're saying. What is detoxifying your body? What does that mean?
It's basically cleansing the body and getting it back to a reset or a foundation that you're feeling lighter, you got more energy. You're not, a lot of times people eat a lot of meat, a lot of dairy, a lot of bread products. Those things a lot of times will sit in the gut or start adding on weight most of the time. And so by doing a cleanse or a detox, we're flushing the system. You know, there's usually very high fiber involved, as well as particular things that help with lung, liver, kidney, gallbladder, those types of cleansing. And we do a combination of herbs, herbal teas, essential oils, specific supplements, and nutrition. That's what we work off of, and it's all naturally based stuff. So I'm not going to tell you that this is the powder that you need to take. I'm going to make you go to the store and get fruits and vegetables and create certain juices that are going to help with that.
That's awesome.
So
And you work with people all over the nation. So just because you're located in Altamont Springs, you do via Skype or webinars or whatever, work with people nationwide.
Right.
So anybody that's listening that may have some concerns or may not know, you know, how to become gluten-free or how to make a shake and have it be a healthy supplement for your family and, you know, not get too many carbs or too much sugar or whatever, anybody can reach out to him, which is really cool, which is another reason why we asked him to be here today. But so you kind of talk to people about how to detoxify and how often should someone do that?
Well, it depends on the person. I mean, if you come to me and you're, you know, largely overweight or obese, you know, you're going to need to detoxify a few more times than someone who is very fit. Now, a lot of times people look at someone who is very muscular and they're fit, you know, their muscles, but I'll tell you, they are typically people sometimes that need even more detoxifying than me because they're putting a lot of chemicals in the body, a lot of powders, a lot of, you know, those protein things, you know. So you want a detox to really reset your system because it can really put a heavy load on your liver, especially the proteins, amino acids specifically. So what you really want to try to do is keep yourself at a really good base foundation. And by doing this cleanse, you can do that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that someone who is overweight needs more detoxing necessarily than someone who is, you know, a big person working out. They both might need to do just as much detoxifying as someone who might just be a normal, you know, everyday person.
And how long does it usually take to detoxify your body?
Once again, individuality is really important. You know, someone might only need a week. Some people could take 2 to 3 weeks. If you are on heavy medications, and that's really what our focus is to try to help people. Weight loss to us is a side effect. It happens with a healthy lifestyle. But we really look specifically at medications and helping people reduce the medication or even get off the medication. And we're happy to work with any physicians that want to work with us on it. Some are, some aren't, you know, it just depends on the person.
Well, even my doctor, I can tell you, about a year ago when I went and I had some blood work done when I was trying to start losing weight, she noticed that my liver enzyme levels were high, and she specifically said, what kind of supplements are you taking? You know what? Because people you're watching Dr. Oz and you're going out and buying everything you possibly can to try and lose weight and popping all these pills. But she had talked about how a lot of those supplements that are being sold on the market right now are actually causing an effect on people's livers.
And they are. The one thing I like to tell people about Dr. Oz, I've had so many people that will come in and they'll put a bag of medication on my desk. But then I'll have someone come right after them and put a bag of 16, 17 different supplements. And, well, Dr. Oz says I should take this for this, and I should take this for this. You know, I love Dr. Oz. I think he's great. However, he does have a 1-hour show he has to fill every single day. Right. So he has to come up with things on those shows. And that doesn't necessarily mean that one thing is better for you than something else. What you need to do is see a local professional, someone that you can connect with and have a relationship with, and build that person into your life that can help you determine what you need specifically. And when we do blood work with people, or we send people for blood work, you know, we actually do what they call a spectranalysis, which kind of gives us an idea of how they're absorbing specific nutrients in the body. Sometimes people need it sublingually, some people need it. We actually even have an IV thing now that we do an IV drip on vitamins.
Wow.
Through a couple of nurses that do VitaFuse. So we have to really look at each individual person. Now, on a regular basis, having just a simple foundation of vitamins and supplements, you know, a basic multivitamin, omega, you know, support, maybe an antioxidant blend of some type. That's really all you really need, outside of maybe some people needing a bone or vitamin D or something like that we have to specifically get to you.
Right.
But there's no point of you taking all this extra stuff unless you need it, because all you're doing is just, once again, like your physician said, you're putting a heavy load of toxins into the system. And a lot of times this stuff is not natural, it's synthetic.
Right.
So you have to be aware of that.
Well, and the bottom line is, what I really needed was not to take all those pills and buy all those supplements. What I really needed to was to watch what I eat and exercise.
And exercise.
And we all know that. So if you're looking for a quick fix, it's really taking a look at how can you, my doctor told my 8-year-old, if it grows from the ground, it's good for you. That's what you want to focus on eating, and that's what you have to focus on eating the most of, every single day. So just being real with what you're consuming and understanding that this is the gas that you're putting in your body, the fuel that you're using to feed yourself, which is important.
That's really true. Another way to look at it is, if it has an expiration date, then obviously, depending on how far out that expiration date is, you can get a can of beans or something, and it doesn't expire for like a year.
Right.
But your food really should, if it doesn't expire, then you don't want to eat it. I mean, if it has a really, really little expiration date within a week or two, typically it's good for you. And a lot of times that's going to be your fresh fruits, vegetables, things like that. And we do look into nuts and seeds. A lot of people come to us, I want to do paleo, I want to do this one. Well, we have to really look at that person and see what's going to work into their lifestyle, as well as work for them nutritionally. Like, what is it that they're missing in there that they're not getting somewhere else? That's when we might have to look at a supplementation program. Someone who, for instance, might be having issues on cholesterol, for instance, we may want to put them on a higher dose niacin supplement. However, that can put a heavy load, once again, on the liver. So if that happens, we have to watch that. We have to gauge that. And you're not going to do it all the time, but it's something that you want to do for 2 or 3 weeks. You're off for a little while and go back on it again, and just watch what you eat and exercise, as we talked about earlier.
That's awesome, and I think those are all very important things. Now, I know that you had mentioned briefly essential oils and how those can help you, and I know that we're hearing more and more about essential oils. It's like this new hot thing that is spreading across the nation with lots of our chapters and things. How can those help you either lower stress or sleep better, or whatever it may be? Like, what are some of the things that we can use to take advantage of that, and how does it really work with your body?
Well, let me give you a little bit of basis on essential oils. Essential oils have been our medication for thousands and thousands of years. It's only as of recently that we've come into this pharmaceutical synthetic chemical industry. And what they typically do is they'll find particular plants or whatever. They will take those and break those, especially if they've gotten wind that they take care of a particular ailment, for instance, depression or sleep or whatever. They'll break that plant down into its individual components, whatever compounds that make that particular plant up, typically through the essential oil or some other type of chemical process. After that, they will then utilize those and test them against different viruses or whatever, anything like that, and see if it works. If it does, then by synthesizing it, maybe making it into a blend, now they can actually patent that and use it as a pharmaceutical drug.
Okay.
Not always a lot of testing going on. However, on the essential oil side, it's just the same way. A lot of times, aside from it, it's a natural compound, but a lot of times testing doesn't happen. And so there's a lot of hearsay out there on it. There is no regulation on it. So you have to be very, very careful at what you put into your system. We were very particular in the oil that we chose because it went through a specific process of testing where they tested through gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, as well as for heavy metals even, to ensure its purity and strength before it gets bottled. And a lot of times they only test it maybe like a normal company would test every 6 months or so. This company tests every single liter of oil that comes through, and they have very high standards, and that is doTERRA.
So how does it work? Like, if you're placing an oil on your neck or on your foot or whatever, tell me realistically, how does that help you not be depressed? How does that help you sleep? An oil on my foot's going to make me go to bed.
Well, first of all, your feet is where your largest pores on your body are. So they get into your bloodstream within 30 seconds, and it will hit every single cell in your body in 30 minutes. At that point, there's been a couple of videos actually online where a particular doctor, he was stressed out, he was flying around a lot, and when he got back, he wanted to test a theory. And that was by taking his blood, they looked at all of his red blood cells, and when you're stressed out and you haven't been taking good care of yourself, your red blood cells, they're clumped together and they're like hugging each other, and they're not really freely moving around as they should be. And so by taking your blood, they put this oil on the bottom of his foot.
Okay.
30 seconds later, they took his blood again, and under the microscope, when they looked at it again, his red blood cells were floating around freely everywhere. And they've tested it several times to see if that was ongoing. They tried a few different people, and they noticed that it worked. And it's interesting because now there's certain hospitals, Cape Coral Hospital is one of them, Vanderbilt out in Tennessee is another one, that are using the essential oils now, and now they're testing theories on them and finding that they're working.
That's awesome.
There's a clinical research done on PubMed.gov, which is a government-run clinical site, on a blend of rosemary, eucalyptus, wild orange, clove, and cinnamon. But they tested a blend of other different ones. They weren't as effective as this particular brand, but this brand killed the H1N1 virus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So oregano they've tested. And oregano, a virus cannot mutate or grow in the presence of oregano. It's so strong. It's the natural antibiotic is what they call it. But by putting it in, anything you put on your body, it goes into your bloodstream immediately. Imagine the lotions and parabens and all you're sticking on your skin.
Absolutely.
A lot of breast cancer has been related back to
Deodorants
and antiperspirants have aluminum in it. Well, why? You're putting them under here, which is where there's also some larger pores. It's where we detox, basically. But what happens, you're blocking those with an antiperspirant from allowing the toxins to get out. So what do? They start to build up in there. And it can cause issues, obviously, down the line if it's not able to get flushed out of the body.
So I think that's important. It's not just what you're putting, what you're eating. It's what you're putting on your body too, because it really it's a toxin, like you said. So I think that's awesome.
And detoxifying too means your house. A lot of people don't realize the chemicals you use in your home. For instance, they did a toxicology report. Several news stations, and you can find these on YouTube as well, that have gone into homes. And they've actually tested after people, dust with Pledge or whatever, use their window treatments. But what happens is they get these high toxicology readings. And the thing about it is there's no regulation on your cleaning products. You can look at it and you don't know what the heck's in it. There's no ingredient label. They're not required to put that on there. And a lot of personal care products are the exact same way.
I just saw something alarming on Facebook the other day that had something about the bounce or like dryer sheets and the chemicals and how it goes onto your clothing, and then it affects, it's a toxin that's going into your body. And like, think about how many years people have been doing laundry with dryer sheets and not realizing that. So I think it's amazing. If you had any advice or suggestions for someone that's watching that may either have a concern about food, may have a child with ADHD, may have something going on in their life, what would be your biggest advice to them?
Really do some research. Reach out to someone who's knowledgeable on the case of detoxifying your home, detoxifying your body. I think those are very important. For instance, some of the cleaning products that you have, they've related back to childhood asthma and allergies.
Wow.
So you really need to be aware of what you're putting in your house, how you're cleaning. The great thing about the essential oils is they're antibacterial, they're antifungal, some of them are antibiotic, antiviral. So if you learn those combinations and adding them into simple things like baking soda, vinegar, glycerin, vegetable glycerin, which are just natural products that we have, you can clean your house. It can be just as effective, if not more so, and there's no toxic chemicals. If you get it on your skin, you're getting a health benefit from it versus getting some type of rash or something, unless you're allergic to that particular plant.
Right.
But other than that, there's no allergic reaction to it. And I think that's really important for a lot of people, and they don't realize that.
How often have you worked with kids?
Oh, I've worked with probably 6 or 7 kids over the past couple of years.
And what type of issues? Because we've got a lot of moms that are out there that are watching right now. What type of issues have you helped them resolve? Just so as moms we can be more knowledgeable and think outside the box a little bit more and just know that there may be something we can do to help our child more.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the simple things that we do is, if the child gets sick, using peppermint oil for fevers. It helps to reduce fevers. Those are simple little things. But I had one particular instance. I won't say her name in case she's not up, but she is a WOAMTEC sister.
Yay!
Okay. But she brought her son to me, who was having migraine headaches all the time, upset stomach all the time, and they couldn't figure out why. They didn't really have the money to go get allergy testing, so we had to do kind of a trial and error situation. But the first thing I cut out was dairy and gluten. Mm-hmm. We cut those two things out specifically. No issues at all whatsoever.
That's awesome.
And then the father didn't really believe in the system. And so when the mother went away for the weekend, the father actually bought the son Subway and all that kind of stuff. His upset stomach and all that came back. And so they realized that it was those items that were causing it. And ever since that she's gotten him on the gluten-free, dairy-free program, he's perfectly fine.
That is wonderful. Now, you gave me a set of books that I think was really helpful when I first started working with you. Can you tell everybody what it is and what you recommend? Because the video and the books, it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's actually, there's a few of them. You can go on Netflix as well, and you can get a lot of these. Forks Over Knives is always my number one. I always send people to there. Now, not everybody I necessarily say should go on a plant-based diet, okay? However, there is a lot of research that's gone on in the medical industry in regards to a very strong, heavily based plant diet that is really good for the body, done in the right way.
Right.
However, the other one is also called Hungry for Change, and another one is called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, which sounds very traumatic.
Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, yes.
But that one actually follows a gentleman who does a detox for 30 days and loses a lot of weight, and he does it all through juicing. And he travels, he's from Australia, but he travels the United States to do this. And while he's traveling, he's teaching people about juicing. And he gets check-ins every once in a while with the doctor, and they do his weight. By the end, he was off his medications, his autoimmune medications.
That's awesome.
So it's a really neat film. So those three specifically, and then the Forks Over Knives is always the first one I send people to because there's a great program with it. They have recipe books and the whole 9 yards. So that's a really, really good one. That's the one I gave you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. If you are watching right now and you are fat, sick, and nearly dead, was that what it is? I don't know. CJ's going to give away a 1-hour nutritional consultation. Is that correct?
A detox consult.
A detox consult. So if you're watching and you want to clean your body and just learn more about nutrition and how you might be able to better benefit, how you might be able to thrive a little bit more, have more energy, feel better about yourself. The first person to go to your Facebook page, so tell them how to find your Facebook page.
Facebook.com/Healing Revolutions.
Okay, Facebook.com/Healing Revolutions. The first person to go to that page and say, I want to win. I'm fat, sick, and nearly dead. I don't know, something like that. We would love to connect with you. He would love to connect with you. And you can be anywhere in the nation. It doesn't have to be just here in Central Florida. He'll work with you wherever you are. So thank you so much, CJ, for being here today. It was a pleasure having you as a guest on the show. Thank you for sharing information. And Hawkins, I think it's time for us to start a detox. I think can we get through the wedding this weekend first?
Absolutely.
And then we'll start the detox. All right. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you here. Now, don't go away because we're going to be back in just a moment. But now, for those of you that missed our National Confident Woman Conference, I'm so excited to share just a sneak peek at what you missed, so you can mark your schedule for next year and make sure that you join us. Don't miss out. Plan it now in April of 2015. 15 already. Wow, how did that happen? All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready?
much fun we had. It was amazing. We had hundreds of amazing women, fabulous speakers. The breakout sessions just rocked. The keynote stage speakers were incredible. Silent auction raised several $1,000s to help children aging out of foster care find the courage to dream. And it was just an event that next year you have to attend. You can attend as low as $49 for the one-day event. You can attend both events for $99, $129 if you're a non-member, and you could go to the VIP social. You can also be a vendor too. For $255, you can be a vendor, and you also get 2 VIP tickets to attend all 3 events. So join us next year. Don't miss out. I want to give a big, huge shout out to 2 amazing people. Lisa Moses joined us all the way from Arizona, and she got recognized for being the furthest traveled. But I also want to give a big shout out to Stacy Gillis, who joined us from Baltimore, Maryland. She came down and loved the Florida weather. We had a great time together, and they're just women from all over the nation. So it was just such a joy and such a pleasure to be part of that event. And we're hoping that our next speaker may be able to come down and do a breakout session at the next conference. So we're going to hear right now from a fabulous lady from the Oak Brook, Illinois chapter, joining us all the way from Illinois, Leann Piano. Welcome, Leann. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It is truly a pleasure. You're going to share with us a little bit. Tell everybody who you are and a little bit about your business.
Sure. My name is Leann Piano. Fine tuning for success is what I do. I help people rise higher and achieve more through speaking, coaching, and training in the areas of leadership, wellness, and then personal success.
That is fantastic. Well, we're excited to hear what you have to share with us today. And before we dive into that, I do want to give a big shout out to Barbara Brooks from Ocala, who's watching us live today. Tina Delgado, yay, girlfriend, thanks for being here. I'm Davenport Director. And Allison Ferguson, who is one of our vendors at the Confident Women Conference. So you've got several people watching you, and I'm sure more will continue to tune in live. Tell everybody a little bit about what you want to share with us today.
Well, we're talking about balancing, detoxing, just getting healthy, really achieving our dreams, and really just going for it in life. And I think the way we do that is to get our mind, our will, and our emotions in harmony with what we say we really want to achieve. So when we talk about our mind, I help people understand that you need to use your mind to transfer that dream that you have in your heart into clarifying pictures, mental images in your mind. And we have an imagination for a reason. We're supposed to be using it. I talk about maybe our will being, maybe that driving force. You know, we wake up every day and we keep going in the direction of our vision or our dream. It's our determination, it's our fortitude, and then our emotions have to be our undergirding support system to our dream or our vision. So we need to have all 3 of those components in harmony if we're going to achieve that ultimate vision, if we're going to achieve what we say we want to achieve in life. And remember, your underlying emotions have got to be congruent with what you say that you want to achieve. And I talk to people all the time in my seminars, when I'm speaking, coaching, and they tell me about their goals. And goals are great, and we need goals, but the vision comes first. And I always say to them, well, what's your vision? And sometimes they just look at me like, they have no clue what I'm talking about. They're like, what do you mean? What's my vision? And then I'll ask them to communicate the vision. And they have no idea what I'm talking about. So the vision comes first, and then we can go ahead and set the goals in order to achieve. But remember, if you don't believe that you can achieve, you're not going to do it. And that's where the frustration comes in. That's where people get stuck on the hamster wheel of life, just spinning, 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 because they're repeating unhealthy, unproductive, unfruitful thoughts. That's getting stuck in a rut.
Absolutely. You know, I think that is so very true. And you know, we hear all the time, what you think about, you bring about. We hear all the time, if you're starting a business, you should start with a business plan. And that's the concept of that is so you can think through the vision that you're creating and what you're trying to do. So I completely agree with those points. And you know, the other thing I see all the time, Leann, is we meet people often that say they have a goal, but they don't put accountability in place to reach that goal. So they just continue to fail month after month after month, not reaching that goal. And even if they don't vocalize that they're failing, what ends up happening is they feel as though, you know, psychologically, subliminally, they feel as though they're a failure because they're not attaining their goals. So what are some of the suggestions or steps that you would encourage people to do to see that vision and then to put steps into place to make it happen?
Yeah, really important. Remember, we talk about the dream being a desire in your heart, but now we have to put clarity to that by crafting a vision statement. And when you're crafting your statement, you need to take pen to paper and really write that down. So your vision statement needs to be personal, positive, present tense. You have to put yourself into the future. You have to place yourself into the future as if you already have that in your life. I am, I have, I do, I earn, I achieve, because the subconscious mind only takes a command in the present tense. You know, Olympian athletes and high achieving men and women use a process called autogenic conditioning, self-conditioning. You need to write it, you need to speak it, and you need to see it. And most people don't take the time to just settle down and create that clear mental picture in their mind. And the other part of that is that once you write that down, you need to meditate on that picture, and then you need to speak out what it is that you desire in the present tense, because your subconscious mind listens to your voice more than anybody else's voice. So those 3 steps really help people.
I think that's awesome. And, you know, I think that's so incredible that you just said those things, because I know our next guest, Rene, is a hypnotherapist here, and she's been working with me on a couple of those things. And I think that it's just amazing that, you know, it's true. We all say, and I've done it myself, what you think about, you bring about, positive attitude, you know, positive affirmations every day. But if you're not really stopping and pausing on that and repeating it to yourself, you know, you're not getting past that sticking point that's holding you back. So
yeah,
what are some of the biggest objections or things that you've worked with your clients with, and how have you helped them overcome those?
Well, a couple of things. I was just talking to a young lady, Cindy, the other night, and she was having a hard time making those phone calls every day for her business. And she said, I don't know why. And I said, well, if you did know the answer, what would it be? And she just stopped. And she said, because I'm afraid that people will say no. So it was the fear of rejection. And probably 9 times out of 10, there's an underlying fear that we really need to address. But you can't conquer what you don't confront, and you can't confront what you don't first identify. So once you identify the real issue, her issue was fear. Well, we had to talk through the fact that no is not personal. It just means no, I'm not interested in what you are offering. It doesn't mean I'm not interested in you as a person. And we need to understand the difference there. The other part of it was that she got discouraged too quickly, and she got distracted too easily. Those are the double Ds. I call those the dream killers: discouragement and distraction. Discouragement really zaps our energy. And, you know, when you're not motivated, you're not encouraged, you're not going to do too much. Your commitment level really drops. Distraction. I don't know about you, but when I'm sitting there in my office and I'm plugging away on a project, I have a tendency to want to go check my email quite often, or I want to respond to those text messages really quickly. And I've learned that I need to just carve out blocks of time, turn those things off, and discipline myself to complete. A lot of people get discouraged because there's too many open folders, too many open items, and they're not finding that they're finishing projects. We're good at beginning, we're good at starting, but we need to start completing things. The other part is, I think, support systems. I mean, you know, this group in Oak Brook that I belong to, the WOAMTEC group, is amazing. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's so encouraging. We are all contributing value, and we are supporting each other's success. So we are a group of women that hold ourselves accountable. And
that's awesome. Yay. Yeah, Thank you so much for sharing that. Shout out to your director and everybody up in Oak Brook.
Exciting. Really, really exciting.
So what are some other tips or suggestions or techniques that you might recommend to somebody? And when should they hire someone like you?
Well, I think anybody that has a desire in their heart that needs to put clarity to it in order to craft a vision statement. I do a lot of one-on-one work with that. I created a vision workbook, and then I do one-on-one coaching just to get people over that hump. You know, maybe it's just a few times. We need to get that vision clarified. We need to address your underlying beliefs and get everything working in harmony so that you can actually achieve those things that you want to achieve and not get stuck on that hamster wheel, just spinning and spinning. The other thing that I walk people through is really there are 7 basic mental laws that people need to be aware of. You know, our mind is full of all this capacity, and it really helps us achieve full potential. But when we're not utilizing those 7 basic laws, we're going to probably miss it. And I don't have time to go probably all through 7. But number 1 is the law of belief, which says whatever you believe you are becomes your reality. To the degree that you believe it, whether it's true or not. So again, we go back to that support emotion of belief. Do you really, really believe that you're going to achieve what you say you want to achieve? And that's really, again, that foundational piece. Also, the law of expectation. Whatever you expect with confidence becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. So I get up in the morning and I have a choice. I can make an effort. I can make excuses. I can become a victim or I can become a victor. It's what am I expecting? Am I expecting success? Am I expecting opportunities to come my way? And we have to watch that because a lot of us, depending on our life experience or how we were raised, we have this repeating thought pattern that can become very negative and really affect our expectations. I'll give you one more, the law of attraction. Every one of us is a living magnet, and we're always attracting to us the people and circumstances that harmonize with our dominant thoughts. So what are you thinking on a daily basis? And we almost have to monitor this, on a minute-by-minute basis to filter out those negative thoughts and always be planting the good seeds in our mind. We have to fertilize those with our vision statement, our picture, and then the words we're speaking. Because I can always tell people that are really serious about their goals.
Absolutely.
If you tell me, if you tell me you want to lose some weight, but you're consistently going to Dunkin' Donuts during the week, that's not lining up. We're not in harmony there. And that's where I really work with people. That's where I have a passion, and I've seen it work in my life. I'm a 13-year breast cancer survivor, and I really believe that with great medical care and a positive attitude and a strong faith, those were the three components, but they had to all work together. And I used to just lay there on the radiation table getting my treatments, 36 treatments of radiation I had. But I would lay there and I would picture myself 10 years, 20 years, 30 years out, being healthy and strong and doing exactly what I'm doing right now. And I'm just an encourager. We all need encouragement, but I just do it through my platform of coaching and speaking and training. But it really is my passion. I've seen so many breakthroughs when people begin to become aware of these things and then learn how to use them. It's really a process of achievement that we all have to, experience.
Oh, I think that's awesome, and congratulations on being a survivor. That is amazing. I'm very proud of you, and you can tell you've got a positive attitude. You're a positive person, and you are a survivor, which is why you're thriving too. When people hire coaches or trainers or consultants, often they just hire the first person that says they can solve their problem, and I usually encourage people to proceed with caution in that situation. How long have you been doing coaching, and how did you get started in this business, and what are some of the things that people should look for before hiring someone like you?
Yeah, it's really individual. It's really a clicking or a connection, and there's a lot of coaches out there. And I want to just caution you with just getting online and just picking anybody. You really have to look at what they're doing, what they stand for, what are their values, and what is their real specialty. I would say I'm not a life coach. I would say that I'm a coach in terms of personal performance in the area of vision. I want to help people in this particular area. And then if they want to go to, say, maybe move to a life coach, that's awesome. I have some great references. I've been doing this for the last 10 years, training and development, but specifically coaching in the areas of leadership, wellness, and then in this area of vision. I've really streamlined there because that's where I see people really struggling for the last 7 years.
That's awesome.
So I've done over, like 600 seminars. I've spoken to thousands of people, and we're all up against the same things. I think everybody wants to go to that next level in life, but a lot of us just are frustrated because we can reach the ledge, but we don't know how to quite get that boost that we need. And I think coaching is one of the most effective ways in the area of setting goals. And then accountability. Accountability is key. Okay, You've got to have somebody holding you accountable.
I think that's awesome. I think you're awesome, and I'm serious about wanting you to be on our main stage conference. Now, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how can they find you, and are you able to do consultations nationwide?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to leannpiano.net. That's my website. And anybody that visits my website today and goes to the contact page and plugs in Vision-Driven Success is going to get my workbook and a free 30-minute session.
Ooh, anybody, not just the first person?
No, the first person, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, leannpiano.net, and I'm going to take you up on that offer. I would love to be part of that big event for WOAMTEC, and it's just been such a pleasure. You are awesome, and all the ladies watching are awesome as well, and gentlemen. by the way. I love CJ. He was awesome as well.
That's awesome. Yes, we all need a few good men in our lives. That's important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please give everybody at Oak Brook a big round of applause for me and tell them that I'm looking forward to coming. I can tell you, though, Tanya, our Director of Operations, said I'm not allowed to visit between November and, February, March, somewhere like that. So we've got to definitely plan something before or after the cold months. I love Chicago, so I can't wait to come up that way. Thank you. It was a pleasure having you here. Now, don't go away, because we're going to transition into another segment that just goes perfectly, divinely, I just kind of aligned with what Leann just shared with you. Now I'd like to introduce Rene Brent, who was one of our basic breakout session. I just went blank there. Speakers at the Confident Woman Conference, and her evaluations were incredible. She got a great review. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Rene Brent. I have Rene Brent Hypnosis in Maitland, Florida. And I started out my life as a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for over 25 years. And in that episode as a nurse in the ER and in trauma and ICU, I understood that when people made a connection, when you could reach people and change their thoughts, a little bit like what she was saying, that the healing was better. The pain was less. They could breathe easier. So I always understood it even before I knew mind-body connection, even before I knew subconscious, conscious mind. I understood that there was something there. So I actually used hypnosis to get pregnant with my third child, my beautiful boy, who's 17, and a real gift. And I understood hypnosis. So when I was about ready to turn 50, I decided that I needed something different in my life. And I went to school for hypnotherapy, and it's the best decision I ever made in my life.
That's
I have
awesome.
the best job in the world. It's amazing. I get to see women and men change their life every day and find their own power, find their own belief about themselves, and change that I am story. What she said was very correct. The I am story. Most people, if you quiet your mind right now and you say I am, listen to what comes up. I teach people how to start listening to themselves again. We tune out. We get so stressed. We have so much going on. We stop listening to what's in here. And the messages are there. Everything we need for healing, everything we need to move us forward in life is right here. We just have to quiet and listen. And that's what I do with people.
I think that's awesome. And, I do want to just boldly address this, because I know there are people that are watching that are like, hypnotherapy, what is it? She puts you to sleep and she's going to learn all this stuff about you and all this kind of stuff. I personally went to visit her just to see what it was like, because she's a member of the Heathrow chapter. And I thought, what, I'm going to go check it out and see what it's like. And I was really blown away, because it really does take the what you think about, you bring about to the next level. It's really when you say, think positively, this is really how to not only think it, but to feel it, to live it, to own it. Yeah. So tell everybody, what is hypnotherapy, and are you going to wave a clock in their face and put them to sleep?
Right. No, that's not what I do. And because I'm a nurse and I come from a science background, I treat this mind-body connection from a science point of view. The subconscious mind, the conscious mind, the connection, and how every thought that we have affects our body. So the difference between a hypnotist and hypnotherapy is a hypnotist will put you in a hypnotic trance and then give you suggestions. A hypnotherapy actually gets you to understand what your belief system is. In our life, we have events that happen. Events cause beliefs. Beliefs cause emotions, and emotions cause symptoms. I deal with people who come to me for symptoms, weight gain, smoking, alcohol abuse, anxiety, I can't sleep. These are the symptoms that happen. Once I deal with beliefs and emotion, when you really understand your belief, what you're filtering through every day, that self-awareness is a buried treasure. Because when you understand that, you really understand what your I am story is. You bring that belief, subconscious belief, to consciousness, and then you can start to change it. That's when you see change in your life. So that's the work I do as a hypnotherapist. Once you go into trance, it's only a change in your brainwave. Hypnosis is just a change in your brainwave. When you're driving in a car and you get to where you're going, and you've probably done this,
absolutely.
Right? That's you changing your own brainwave from beta to alpha wave, okay? So that's what we do in hypnosis. When you do that, your conscious mind, subconscious mind are working together in a science point of view. You can't have one without the other. Your conscious mind's always there. So I can't make you say or do anything. When you're driving in the car and someone pulls in front of you, what would you do?
Slam on the brakes.
Right. You keep yourself safe. It's the same way in hypnosis. When you're in my chair and we're in a hypnotic trance and I say something that you don't agree with or you don't think, you will put on the brakes faster, and that's why you need a professional to do it, someone who's really highly trained, because they won't hit that brake. You won't hit that brake. And when you can stop fighting with what's up in here, because I can tie all my problems up in a bow and hand it to you, and I know that you can do the same thing, right? When we're in here, we don't really listen to what's here, and that's where the healing comes, right here.
Well, and that's really why I wanted to have you here on the show today, because when I experienced what I experienced through working with you, one of the things that I discovered, there's so many women that are we're just take charge, we're going to get it done, we're going to keep driving forward as mothers, as wives, as business owners. We throw our shoulders back, put our lipstick on, and keep moving forward, when we forget that there is that little girl still inside you somewhere. Those guys are the same way too. They just keep persevering and keep moving forward. And gosh, within 10 minutes, I was bawling my eyes out in your office. And all of these things, when we really put it together, it really helped me see that, I can, if I acknowledge these things, but all of these things that have happened in my life has really created, I can't forget what's in the back of my mind. My subconscious mind is just not going to go away.
Right.
So I think you become more aware and accept more that awareness through working with someone like you.
And once you're aware, you understand that you can change it. If your belief system in yourself, for instance, someone who somehow in their life got the message that they were ugly. So they carry that belief. Events cause beliefs, beliefs cause emotion, emotion cause symptoms. So their whole life, they live with this feeling that they're... So anytime anyone says to them, a man says, "You have beautiful eyes," filters through her belief system, and she hears, he's only telling me my eyes are beautiful because the rest of me is ugly. That's how we filter. That's how we change. Once you understand that, it can stop, and you go, no, that's not true. Actually, I'm beautiful. I'm sexy. I'm a great woman. I'm not ugly. When you can start to change it. And in hypnosis and hypnotherapy, that's what I do. I get people to understand and change a belief system about themselves. It's very important in hypnosis and in life, really, for us to understand the subconscious conscious mind. The conscious mind is our mind that holds our, it analyzes. It puts everything. It comes in, we can look at our business, and we know, no. That goes right here. The subconscious mind is where we hold our beliefs, our emotion, and it's always pushing up at us. So through the day, when you're feeling this anxiety, and by the way, anxiety is not an emotion, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of fear. So if you have a lot of anxiety in your life, you can bet that there's some fear, and she's very true. Most of us filter through fears in our life, and we have to understand what that is, and then we can change it. So listen to your I am story. It's very important. And then you can move forward in your life.
I think that is important. And one of the things that I discovered, and you kept saying it to me, was, I don't remember exactly how you said it, but you kept, I discovered, I knew the answers that I should say analytically.
Yes.
And not the answers that I was really feeling. That was harder to get out. So if I would have gone to a counselor or a psychiatrist or somebody, I would probably just continue to say the things, like you said, to package it nice and tie it with a bow, and say things that you're training yourself to say, but that you're not really feeling. And I think one of the things that really struck a chord with me, with you, is how those fears, those feelings, those whatever you feel in different places, and how much it could go back to what CJ talked about, and can not only affect your goals, but affect your health, in the end. So talk about that. How do they know where they may be feeling something? How do you know what's connected with your body?
Well, there's the obvious thing with anxiety. Your heart rate goes up. You have a fight or flight response to fear, because your mind, your subconscious mind is like, oh, we have to, it's encoded in us that we have to stay safe. So it's ready to go. So when you're feeling that anxiety, you're feeling the heart rate going, the adrenaline's going, we're ready to go. Cortisol's high, we're ready to go, okay? So when you feel that, that's a sign.
Okay.
The other thing is, sometimes this is from about here to our pelvis is what we call the felt sense in my world that I live in. That's where we hold our emotion. So some people feel it in their stomach. Some people feel it in their chest. When they're sad, when they're angry, they feel it. You cannot have a thought in your mind without a physical response. Every thought we have affects every cell. There's research, it's science. It's not woo-woo energy. Everything. When you get angry, your body comes up, you're ready. When you get sad, you cry. That's a physical response. When you get embarrassed, your cheeks flush, right? How does your blood vessels know that you had a physical, like an emotion? Connected. You cannot get away from it. And I know this in my work that I did as a registered nurse, and I know this from my work as a hypnotherapy. So if you are feeling this in your stomach, people say, I get so sick to my stomach, or I'm heartbroken. These are words that describe emotion, but physicality. So when you understand that this emotion going on right here is pain, this is physical, not physical pain, but emotional pain, acknowledging it. And I do something, and I'm going to teach the audience here for a minute to do this, because this is very important. I like to educate, but I also like to give you real things to take home with you. So this is what I want you to do if you're watching. If you have a pain in your life, if you can think about a stress, where is it in your body right now? If it's in your stomach, if it's in your chest. I want you to just close your eyes for a minute, and then take a big breath in, and exhale, and say to yourself, relax. This is an exercise you can do to reframe always from anxiety or stress. When you feel yourself going up, just take a big breath in and say to yourself, relax, because you're talking to your subconscious mind now, not up here, your subconscious mind. So as you're looking, think, okay, it's in my stomach. I want you to just stop and just pay attention to the sensation in your stomach. Not any judgment, not where it's coming from, not any thought, other than I have this feeling in my stomach. Just stop and notice it. And as you close your eyes and you relax, just think to yourself, it sounds a little corny, but I want you to try it. Think to yourself, I accept you, I love it, I love you, it's okay. Just notice the sensation. It's okay. That's all you're doing is sending positive things to the sensation, and watch what happens.
That's awesome.
I do this all the time in my office to reframe, to get people, and it just goes, because there's 3 things you can do with emotion. You can push it down, which all of us do every day. That comes up. No, I have to push it down. No, I can. And then we get what? We get high blood pressure. We get ulcers. Our cortisol level is up. We gain weight around the middle because we can't lose weight. All of these physical things happen to us because we're not willing to deal with the emotion. The other thing we can do is we scream or cry all the time, and that's not going to get us anywhere. If you find that you're in the grocery store, this happened to me during my divorce, by the way, and I'm standing in the grocery store, and I wasn't dealing with my emotion, and I just started bawling. And, you know, the teenage boy who's checking me out had no idea what to do with me because I'm just bawling. I was like, oh, it's okay, I really want that milk. You know, it was crazy, but I wasn't dealing with it. And it'll come up because it wants to heal. The other thing we can do, which is a lot what I do, a lot what your last guest does, is we teach people just to acknowledge how they feel. We have an emotional intelligence in us. It's a gift, whether your frame is God, whether you're whatever, spiritual, whatever it is. We are gifted with this emotional intelligence. Just like when we cut our arm, we get a cut. Do we tell it what to do?
No.
No. It just happens. We're gifted with this ability to heal. We have that ability to heal emotion if we just acknowledge it from here, not here. Just drop in and allow it, release it, and guess what happens? You can go from a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I want to murder someone right now, or I just want to crawl in my bed and hide, to a 2 or a 3 just by acknowledging it. I do that in several ways in my office. I do that exercise that I just did with you. I do tapping. And if you guys do not know about EFT or tapping, I want you to go now online when you're done with this program and find it. It's amazing. It's life-changing. And when you tap on that, the energy. So I don't have time to go into it. Maybe another segment we can do it.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, people were at your breakout session.
Yeah.
I've seen them Facebook tapping as my new favorite
Yes,
thing. Like
yes.
I've seen that by a couple of people.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It can change your life. It really just allows you to release that energy. It's Harvard did a study on it. When you activate the meridians in your body, then it allows you to release and bring in new thoughts, new feelings, and understand. So it's very powerful. It can change people's life. It does all the time. And then hypnosis is what I do. Because in hypnosis, you do not fight with what's up here. You drop in. When you came in 10 minutes you cried, I'm like, got her. Because I knew right then you went from here to here.
And I don't cry. I don't cry often. You know what I mean? So
I get
was
that
awesome.
a lot. I get that a lot. And people, it's uncomfortable for people, but when they're in a safe place and you find a hypnotherapist that you trust and you're comfortable with, when you can drop into that place of healing, it changes everything. You heal in ways you don't even know. I tell people text me the next day, I slept better than I have in years. I feel like I've lost 10 pounds. That energy, that sadness, that anxiety, it weighs us down in our life every single day in ways we're not aware of.
That's amazing. Well, and you're amazing, and I look forward to continuing to learn
Thank
from you
you.
and have you on the show again. Now, if somebody's watching you, though, and they're in Illinois or Arizona or wherever, how can they, can you work with somebody if they're not in your office?
I can do Skype. The work that I do in the beginning is reframing, understanding mind-body connection, mental laws that she talked about before, getting people to understand that the self-awareness. I can do that over Skype. I can do hypnosis over Skype. I can do that as well. And I'm going to give a free session, an hour session. If someone's away, I would love for them to try and chat with me. But I do free half-hour consultations. So if people want to just talk and understand, and I can lead them in their area to a qualified hypnotherapist if they want to do that. If you haven't considered hypnosis and hypnotherapy, I definitely would, because it gets you out of here and gets you here, and that's the path to healing. That changes the I am story. That changes your belief system.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. Now, if they want to be a winner, the first person that goes to her Facebook page and says, I want to be a winner, I want to change my I am story. How about that? Tell them how to find you.
Just go to Facebook and find me at Rene Brent Hypnosis. That's BRE, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom. It's crazy, but I do have to spell my name because people don't hear it. So it's Rene Brent Hypnosis at Facebook.
That's awesome. Well, it was a pleasure having you today, and I look forward to continuing to work with you because I am changing because of you. So thank you so very much. I'm so excited again to have all of you here today. Next month we are going to have another amazing show, so please tune in. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. So if you miss a segment, you can have it sent to you as soon as we upload it. And if you are watching and have something knowledgeable or educational that you would like to share with our members, please reach out to me because I am still looking for more guests to be on WOAMTEC Live, and I would love to consider you too. Again, thanks so much for being here. Shout out to everybody watching. Take care and God bless.
Hey.